So I'm playing Sonic Adventure on a PlayStation 3. Now I'm playing Resident Evil 3 on my GameCube. And now I'm playing Conker's Bad Fur Day on my Xbox One? You probably don't even want to know about this one, but I am DK May, and let's talk about these made-up rules of retro gaming. So if you had told me months ago when I started digging into the world of retro gaming that there was a lot of rules that I was going to be breaking along the way, I probably would have laughed at you because I really have a hard time understanding the rules of engagement when it comes to things that I enjoy. I tend to just go and jump in and enjoy them. And it wasn't until I made a post over on Reddit, and it was specifically about this game here. It's Doom 64, and this is a really gnarly looking copy that I got. And I ordered all this stuff to refurb it, and I did. But it was a lot of the comments that were on there that got me thinking, and it also got me paying attention a little bit more to the World Wide Web and the internets and the way people were talking in game shops. And it made me realize that there's a lot of rules when it comes to retro gaming, and they don't matter. It does and doesn't. It all depends on where you stand. And that's where I want to talk about in this video, is like where things make sense and where they don't. Because rules are rules, and they keep us from living in anarchy and chaos. But at the same time, a lot of times they're arbitrary, and they really only apply to people who want to be in a certain lane. And there's a few lanes when it comes to retro gaming. One lane is resellers and collectors. It seems like a lot of these folks put themselves together. They're in for the grail, not so much the game. They're looking for those big ticket items, those hard to find, rare games. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're into. There's a lot of animosity when it comes to the reseller side of it. You know, people that are going out and haggling super low prices. But, you know, I'm going to let you make up your own mind there. I'm a little bit indifferent. I believe in if I don't like those prices, I'm not going to pay them. All of these older retro consoles have a large library of games that are accessible and approachable and affordable, but they all do have ones that are like super expensive. The Nintendo 64, and that's one that I'm personally collecting for, so I'm falling a little bit in that collector state, even though I refurbished this one cartridge, because this is mine. I've got no interest in ever selling this. This is going to go on my shelf, and I'm going to play it. In fact, I've already been playing it. And I don't care that this version, this casing, is worth more than the other one, because I don't care what it's worth at this point, because what it's worth is that I have it and I'm able to play it and enjoy it. But people who collect with the intent of reselling, or they enjoy being able to say how much their catalog is worth, that's great if that's what they're into. I fall very much in that gamer category, where I'm much more interested in experiencing these games and playing the games that I missed. I've mentioned that in my first video on the channel here. My goal is to play games that I missed. Doom 64 was on that list of games that I never owned for the Nintendo 64. But gamers can also be collectors, and they can also be resellers. But I see a lot of people falling very hard into one of those categories when it comes to online representation and the way they share their stories. And it's like most things in life, I can only imagine, based on the feedback that I've gotten from a lot of people online and the engagement, as well as meeting people in real life. When it comes to it, most people just want to play the game. Like, most people don't care if that cartridge is kind of jacked up. They don't care if they're missing the box and the manual. They just want to be able to play the game. Which leads us into another piece of the puzzle. Do you play it on OG hardware, or do you emulate it? And emulation got brought up in the last video that I did, where I talked about the revival of the Nintendo 64 and how awesome that was. I mentioned the Analog 3D and the M64, and I was like, oh, they're hardware. It's not really emulation. And somebody in the comments was right. They kind of hit me up because I was talking through this and I didn't think about it. It is emulation. It's just hardware emulation. You have software and hardware emulation. And of course, you've got the debate on the ethics of all of that. You got people that'll go, hey, software emulation is not okay unless you own the physical release, and then you made your own backup and you're playing it on a software emulator. but they seem to be okay with playing physical media cartridges, discs on emulated hardware using FPGAs. I'm going to tell you where I stand on it. I don't care how you play the game as long as you enjoy it. Because these are older games and it's not like they're going for sale for new on the shelf. So if you're not buying it and you're emulating it in one way because you can't get it the other way, I mean, I'm sure resellers don't like it at all. They'll speak against it pretty hardcore. But if you're just trying to enjoy a game, man, I don't care how you play it. And then you got other games like which version of the game do you play? Do you play the original version? And I use Shadow of the Colossus as an example because I bought it originally for my PlayStation 3. And then when I got my PS2 out and I got it hooked up to my TV and stuff, I said, hey, I want to play it on the original version. I started playing the original version. I was like, man, this plays pretty rough. So do I want to play this really low frame rate version or do I want to play this much better frame rate version? And spoiler alert, playing it all on a CRT. So the TV's kind of the same. So it's not really true HD. So it leads to the point. I don't care how you play. There's going to be people that's going to tell you how you need to play the game. And I will say the Nintendo 64, you kind of want to play it on hardware emulation or the OG hardware. I don't care if you get a Summer Kart 64 or an EverDrive 64 and you throw all the ROMs on an SD card and then you have the whole catalog because some of those games are stupid expensive. And you know what? That one bowling game that's worth $600-700, it's only worth that because it's very limited run. It's not because it's a good game. So I don't really care how you play it as long as you enjoy it. So don't let other people dictate to you how you play your games that you missed out on or you want to relive. So enjoy that. And that leads me into the next topic, which is TVs and how you interface with these systems. Look, I'll admit, you get to the 6th generation, so GameCube, PlayStation 2, and the original Xbox, that's kind of the cusp. Anything newer than that, you kind of want it on a more modern TV. At that 6th generation, I'm having a hard time with this one because I've got this really nice 36-inch CRT that is beautiful, and the games look really, really good on it, but there's a lot of games on there that support progressive scan, and this TV doesn't do that. And I also play on a plasma. So plasma TVs for 6th and 7th generations are phenomenal, and I see a lot of people sleeping on those. I'm going to recommend you look into plasmas a little bit more because a good plasma TV with that phosphor glow, I tell you what, Xbox 360 and PS3 games come to life on these consoles or on the TVs, plasma TVs. Anything newer than that, LEDs, OLEDs, you're going to have to get yourself a scaler. You're going to be ready to spend some good money on a scaler, but you're saying like, well, look, if I got to buy a scaler, or I got to buy a CRT or a plasma. Dude, I'm telling you, you can find you a good CRT or a plasma for pretty much getting it out of somebody's way. Because there's a lot of people out there that have no interest in them. Just go get it. If you don't like it, send it on down the road. I'm just saying. Save you a lot of money, a lot of headache. Definitely recommend playing these older games, though, on a CRT. So 5th gen and back, it's phenomenal. There was some magic to those screens, and it's real. It's not made up. So that's what I wanted to say there. And I just want to talk about restoration or rot. Think about that. There are people who would rather have this copy of Doom 64 looking like it does, and that's fine. If that's what you want, that's cool. As long as you enjoy it the way that you want to enjoy it. But they're more worried about it being worth more than really looking good. And, I mean, you could argue, like, what good does it have to, it looks good? It's the same game. I took the game out and put it in this cartridge. It's an original casing. It's a Nintendo casing. It's not a reproduction casing. The back label is a Nintendo label. It's not a reproduction. The front label is a reproduction. It's because I wanted it to look good, y'all. I like the way this looked. Somebody did have a good point. If I took this and I put it in a black case and had it looking all grungy and grimy, that'd be really cool. But it is what it is. Not really that worried about it. And at the end of the day, it leads me to what I really wanted to get across to everyone. If you're not in the reseller game and you're not trying to get perfect collection of every title, complete in box, whatever, guys, enjoy the games the way you want to enjoy them. And maybe you do enjoy reproducing, cleaning up old stuff. You like taking it from that gnarly looking case to making it look really good, and that's cool. There's people that do that with all kinds of hobbies, all the way to cars. People rebuild cars all the time, and they try to get them as close to the original as possible, and you can't always get OEM parts. Same thing with these consoles. Sometimes you got to get aftermarket parts. I mean, like my Nintendo 64, I got an untouched version that even has the sticker on the jumper pack. And then I took the other one that I had that I put my expansion pack in, and I gave it a purple case because I wanted a purple case. I don't care what other people think about it. I hope they like it. It's kind of cool. I like it. Who doesn't like to hear good things? But at the end of the day, don't let other people dictate how you enjoy the adventure that you're on, because it is your adventure. Just like this adventure that I'm going on with my Nintendo 64 is my adventure, and I'm inviting you all along for the ride. And this will probably be the last video that we do for a little while where, I get in on topics like this, and we're going to go right into the games because I just finished Star Fox Assault and I got some things to say. And if you want to hear what I have to say about that, you're going to want to stick around for the next video because it could be a fun one. At least I know I'm having fun with it, and I'll see you all there.